Mm-hmm.
You've gone
You up?
all foggy. You've got
Oh, potatoes.
your Vaseline lens on. No, it's more
Oh,
like
good.
your
There goes my camera.
your phone camera's being a weirdo. Quick screenshot what Justin's got on his
On my
pinboard.
wall. Just printed out a new thing for the wall. I've had this forever. I made like a spreadsheet of all the, it's very CNC router specific, the upcut lengths of my compression tools,
Mm-hmm.
sorted by length.
Oh yeah, tasty. But got it.
Just It's just an imperial, so good luck with that.
Don't know how to convert that.
I hadn't updated it
Yeah,
in years.
I'm out in the main office today. I don't know, just purely
Ah,
because I couldn't be bothered moving my microphone stand. I was running a few minutes late,
see,
and
right. So yeah, that's why I heard the echo. That's why I knew
that's the
something was up.
room. The room's different. Yeah, of course
You were
it
severed.
is. Now I just went to reach for my standing desk control to lift it up a little bit. And I have this like every time I lift my desk up, I want Josh Groban's "You Raise Me Up" to play just in the room.
Put a little marker there.
You raise me up. How's it going, man?
I just tried to play a laughing clip and it didn't let me play. Oh wait, it's a good joke. It's a good joke.
Make it stop.
Oh,
It's awful.
they're good. How's it going? Good. Got a lot of stuff delivered the last couple days of parts and products we've been waiting on for a long time. Well, a long time coming, let's say. Like the dust boot parts that I was mentioning were prototypes last week. We have a limp microphone stand again. And had some show up and they were missing holes. This is the first time ever I've had a online sheet metal quick send solution, and it was just like missing holes in the parts, and I was like, I can't use like I almost tried to modify them to get parts sent out, but I just told them. And this is rmfg.com, and they've been really great. And they remade them and sent them out the next day, and we had them the next day. So I was like, well, I'm not going to try and modify, 5 mil holes that have to be pretty precise in stainless steel. I don't know. It's not
and stainless.
Not my forte,
no,
really.
No thanks.
Yeah, and thin sheet stainless steel.
Yeah, no, I've done plenty of drilling of stainless. It's not fun. Not a fun part.
Right.
No.
I asked Dylan. I was like, hey, you do stainless steel. Like, is this stupid? Should I even try this? And he's like, yeah, just make a quick fixture. And I was like, see, that's easy for you. Like, a fixture is a day for me. Like, I'm not quick at those kind of like, oh, just pop it in the mill real quick.
Are you like building and running these test units on your Shop Saber?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've tested it probably not as extensively as we should, but I am pretty confident in it. And as we always discuss, it's like somebody's going to run it way harder than we expect and something will happen. But we're kind of at this place with, we call it the bottom plate, the snap-on plate, right? That it's never been what we wanted it to be. And the brushes come out so easily, no matter what we try to do to them, glue, all the fastening items, that it's just finally like, I think this is a better solution, even if it's not perfect. We haven't tested it extensively. It's so much better than where we were at that, like, I think it just got to be shipped,
Yeah, I was going to say, in the baby pants fence last week, I wanted to say, I don't think we've had a brush come out or flex inwards. And I'm pretty happy with our airflow. Yeah, sure. You get, like, it's more bushy on the inside than when it was new, of course. Like, it's, and I'm sure some fibers
happens
have
to
been
all of us, though.
Yeah, completely derailing.
I appreciate the comment regardless. I would say that the nice people don't say anything let's just say people that are friends of us, more personal and don't just know us as an ad that they saw and tried out. Um, yeah, I don't know how to say it, just to be transparent. It's not been it's never been ideal.
Yeah, no, I
And
get that. Yeah,
part of it's the brush composition, and part of it was we never could find the right combination of ways to keep this flexible, like 5 by 5 millimeter backer of a strip of brush attached to HDPE sheet that we machined. And so now we've had this like drastically better solution. And it's, well, I went through this before. It's repairable. I'm making a little video to publish about it. And I'm in the same attire as I was the other day, which definitely had some nice commentary from you and the other peanut gallery about my Gen Z look, apparently. Camera. What's wrong with you?
It's back.
It's one of those days.
Yes, I was greatly entertained by your orange.
Does it look bad, or is it surprising that I have a slightly different look? It
surprised me.
That's good. How about things down in the other hemisphere?
Down south? Oh yeah. Don't know. Slow week. Yet another slow week. Laura and
sales-wise.
Chatting. Yeah, sales-wise. Laura and I were chatting finance on the couch last night, as we do sometimes. And we're like, I think this is kind of the time of year. Oh, it is. It's exactly the time of year when, like, we made the big shift where we kind of freaked out and downsized. Right. Started that process 12 months ago. And Laura went into spreadsheet mode and pulled up 5 years worth of data out of zero into Excel and built some graphs, and was like, yeah, this is like the end of Jan into Feb, right into the end of Feb is like a classic dip every year. You can see the pattern clearly.
Yeah.
And then it rises up into March. So fingers crossed, this is just the standard dip. But yeah, definitely feeling it. Just cash flow is super tight. It's just hard to get people over the line right now. Like, I've caught up on quotes pretty much for the first time in ever, which is a good feeling. But as I said the other day, it's also a bit like, scary. So my leads. Right. But at the end of the day, I don't want too many leads. I want to just sell more straight products. So I think, that's partly why I've been burning the midnight oil this week on the configurator, because I just want to get that better and better into the next point, get more people using it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. Yeah, just trying to it looks like it's so close. Like, I suppose what the big hang up is, it's not converting into the shopping cart yet. Probably.
Keep forgetting to even look at that. Like, it's hosted in Shopify now, so I should absolutely be able to do that. I don't know if it's even on my dev list in Workflowy. Let me go and put that on top of my hit list now.
There you go. I bet that you could knock that out in an evening. God damn it,
I think so too.
So pissed about this camera situation. Why are you having problems? I think I'm close to just buying a nice webcam. I'm tired of this stupid thing. Let's see. What did you just say?
Oh, look, no, just the configurator add to cart code. Like,
right.
I think it probably will take me an evening. I've just been holding off.
Yeah.
I haven't run that prompt yet.
It isn't probably like the top priority I get. Like, that it functions and people can try it out and send you results is great. I can think of how I could do it slowly myself, probably, like with very poor results, and then I would try some kind of like coding tool to actually get it done. But the API is pretty built for that, so you should have some good results from it pretty quick, I think.
Really happy with the automatic DAO placement that I added this week. Super chuffed with that. It's just made it so much faster to use. Like it's now the fastest tool, much quicker than like my Rhino block template for building.
So you can just use that instead and send people.
Yeah, I added like configurations last night, so you can save and import designs using like a JSON output. And yeah, it's great. Really happy with it.
Where do I find it again? It's under kit apart.
If you just link from the front page of the website, actually, the guinea pig link on the front page.
Yeah, you added that. Oh yeah, I think it integrates better with your website too. I mean, it doesn't. It's like so fast to load.
Yeah. Straight HTML.
Dark mode, please.
Baby.
Actually,
yeah.
my eyes.
I was thinking about a dark mode button. I mean, I love Airshop's dark mode switch. Proud.
Dark mode, baby.
Sitting proudly in the top right-hand corner. Very nice.
I guess if I while we're updating our code and side projects, I sent you a nice little demo, and then it got merged right away. But I got a nice dashboard built into the quotes now. So we had like a homepage dashboard, which is like your big zoom out. Here's all the things happening.
Hold up.
Yeah.
What were you merging?
Code.
So like, that's what that means. Yeah.
It's like a whole like. I think I said this to you. No, I didn't. So it's perfect. I think it's like this whole code development thing is really great. I think we need to, and I've heard like, I think Justin Gray say this too, like bring some of the software development stuff into the CNC world more clearly. It's like, there's so many nice little features. Like I wish we had, I'm trying to think, maybe in G code related things, but like you start working on a new feature for the software project and it's like, you make a branch. And so it never affects the thing that people are using currently.
Yeah.
And then, which you call like main or production or dev, whatever, which version of that, there's different levels of it. So you can keep kind of editing on your side and then merge it back into the main thing. And you have somebody review it in the process. And they've got it all figured out in terms of it's annoying and it feels slow at times. Like the reason that I think it was American Airlines, or maybe Delta. I can't remember the airline, but last year they had a giant crash of all their systems because the person working on the code for it was publishing code to main, like on a production and not going through a testing phase, which is insane. Like
for an airline, yeah.
In our little side tool that nobody uses, we never do that. I don't understand how a multi-billion-dollar company doesn't have controls on that. That's just crazy. I built out a nice little dashboard that can show you what's going on for just your quotes and kind of updated some styling. And before it was kind of like a grid of just quotes. And that's not really what our plan or ever was for it. It just took some time to like build out some graphs and I have more to put into it, but it's just nice to make and add new features like that pretty quickly.
I wanted to ask you about this because I was falling asleep last night after yet another late night of coding, and about how you professionals do like what you just described with like merging and forking and stuff, of like how you do file management. Because at the moment, I'm just like every time I sit down to work on it, I save a copy of the file. Yeah. And then when at the end of the session, if I'm happy with the progress and I'm like, yes, I've improved upon it, I'm happy with how it's working, I'll save that again as like a milestone file with like just like a one-word description. And then next time I sit down, I save off a copy of that milestone and proceed. So I've always got things to come back to. Is that okay? Appropriate?
Yeah, I mean,
basic.
That seems pretty safe and great. I mean, it's taken me the entire time I've worked on AirShop, like partially 60% understand GitHub and Git in general. I kind of hated it at first, but it turns out to be pretty, I actually really kind of like it now. And it's nice to have this like other thing where you can go literally on GitHub and go back and see, like when I was building this quote dashboard, I built a draft of it in a branch 2 months ago, I think. And I could go back because so much else changed in that time period, I'm not capable of like bringing that version back to the current version and like all the merging that needs to happen. So I was like, well, I can reference a lot of those files and kind of go see a saved state of where I was working in commits. So it's like where I go from my local and it pushes it up as like a saves version, I guess, in that branch. So I mean, I don't know if I can recommend GitHub, but like it's probably to like learn all of it, but like I think you're doing kind of that already. Like as long as you're dating and saving, it is nice to like put comments in and stuff about how
I don't do enough of that.
How you change stuff.
Yeah, I think like something I've struggled with is just drift. Like I realized last night at some point my like disclaimer pop-up has disappeared from the code. And I'm like, I don't know which version that vanished. And it'd be kind of nice to have it back. Though. So it's like, do I just go back and open all the files and try and find that feature and then try and reintegrate it? I can't be bothered right now. Whatever.
That happens to both Brady and I, and it'll go like, oh man, you used to have this nice tooltip on this button or something. And he's like, oh yeah, I was fixing something. I forgot to add it back in. And just kind of from, you can only imagine like what a big software project has, just so many missing
natural
things
attrition.
There. So, right. Yeah, man, it's looking really good.
I'm very happy with it.
Click here to email your designs. What did I get? Oh, it just dumps that. Huh. I had a Shopify issue of my own, which kind of brought on by my own doing, I suppose. I think, but last week, so we've had dust boots kind of like out of stock and in a back order state because we've been changing. We ran out of the custom brush, so that necessitated like this. I saw it coming, didn't fully get it done in time, so which is stupid because it's a driving force of a lot of our sales. Got the new version tested and rolling, and so as we ran out of that stock of those brushes, we started to back order. And I've got a plugin that kind of manages that automatically, and it tells people how long until they'll get their item when stuff goes out of stock. And I also have the bundling app. Plug in simple bundles, and there's one other one that was in play. But basically, I had some customer say, hey, I've been trying to order your dust boot, and it keeps saying it's out of stock. People will email us that sometimes when it's stuff's on back order, because it says back order, you can pre-order now, it'll ship by this date. And I was like, oh, I have it set so you can pre-order something or back order it. And he's like, oh no, I tried that, I'm getting this weird warning. I had never seen this warning before on the dust boot page. It took me the entire day Friday to manage to allow people to add dust boots to the cart again. No. And I don't know how many days it had been like that, but let's just say thousands of dollars of sales probably missed that week. At least that week, man. I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it kind of resulted in it resulted in basically me turning on and off some of those plugins. I took one out of play completely, I think. And I was looking at like what was happening on the code on the front end. There's like a weird error happening. And it works. We've had people order them since, but I was like kind of in a panic of like, I don't know if I can fix this. And I'm relying on these things to do these certain tasks. And I was chatting with a friend about it. I was like, how do I prevent not knowing this in the future? Do I have to like create like a bot that like goes to the website and randomly picks products to like add to cart, and if it can't do it, it tells me about it? Like,
yeah,
I don't. How do you do that? Do it yourself, I guess.
It's a bit spooky. Do like a weekly review of core functionality or something. I mean, yeah, hopefully just customers tell you, right? But I had a customer call me yesterday, just like picked up the phone and called me. He's like, yeah, Joe, you remember me from like 14 years ago when I bought a really early set of shelves? I'm like, hi, David. Like searching his name in the inbox.
Dude,
he's like,
I forget people so often now.
I'm looking at kit parts and I want the drawer, like I want some drawers. Do you still do those? People are confused about the drawers because they've seen them on socials, but there's no mention of them on the website at all. And I was like, yeah, actually, if you go into this new configuration tool, you can add them yourself. And he's like, he's on the phone. I can hear him clicking through. He goes, oh, okay. So I go to the configurator, and then he's like, oh, it's just giving me like a blah 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 error. I was like, oh, is that on the main configuration? And he's like, yeah. Oh, okay. Just ignore all of that. Go down and click on my link there. Bypass that one. I'm like, shit. And I can't reproduce that error, so it's working for me. But here's a punter out in the wild trying to buy our stuff, and he's just getting like some sort of code error when he tries to load the main configurator. So yeah, stuff like that. Spooky. Don't know what you can do other than rely on people to let you know.
So it's funny. An ad just worked on me as you were describing that. And I was thinking like, okay, my original bot idea, there's that, but that's like hopeful that I can come up with a solution. And I don't know that I would do this, but we'll find out if it makes sense. I listened to this podcast from these two web developer guys, and it's like kind of like fascination of like, I barely understand what's going on. It's kind of like how I learn stuff often, where I was watching John Saunders videos back when he had like a Tormach and was playing with like, I'm just going to say junk cam software. I don't really understand what I'm listening to, but I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that existed. And they are sponsored by a app called Sentry, and it's basically just helps you find bugs and errors in your code on your websites. So it's some kind of subscription service. Let's see how expensive it is. Free. Oh, $26 a month for Teams.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, one thought. Probably won't find the thing I want, but
I mean, given the pace of progress, we're probably about like 6 weeks off one of our AI agents being able to do this on its own in the background as a background task, just like trawling your website looking for stuff.
Right.
I made an oopsie just to update on the Profit First finance story of last week, having reconfigured everything for 2025 with my human agent, Laura /wife.
Human agent.
We messed with it a bit too much, I think. And so as I was doing distribution on Monday, I was like, oh, there's no profit in this distribution. What's going on? And then I looked at the numbers, and it was, it was a low distribution. I'll just pull up my spread here, which isn't loading. Can't remember. It was like half. It was about half of target. I was like, oh, there's no profit in the breakdown. And I was messaging Laura about it. I was like, oh yeah, because we've now got some fixed costs in here. The calculation is prioritizing things like payroll and insurance and sort of fixed costs within the distribution.
There's no profit. Yeah.
And it's spitting those out, as full numbers, and then it's distributing whatever's left. And just the way the percentages were broken down, it was like there was 0.5% profit or something that week. I was like, oh, no. This goes against the whole
breaking the rules
point of the system. Like the system is a hack to trick yourself into ensuring there's profit at every distribution. Yes. We need to bring the hack back. Right. And so Laura's rejigged it again this week that it is truly profit first. That's what gets pulled first out of the distribution, and then it can still apply those fixed allocations within that. So fine tuning, but it was a bit of a shock of like, oh, oops. And then I was teasing Laura. I was like, because you haven't read the book, man. Go read the book and then you'll know.
We pay bills after we pay ourselves.
That's right.
Which sounds, this is like, I told you, my friend first told me about it. It's like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah. And it's usually Laura teasing me that I don't read the instructions. So it's nice to have an opportunity for a change. Accusing Laura of not knowing what we're doing. But yeah.
Yeah. So the one thing that happened this week that was a bit in the last week that was a bit of a well, it's just unplanned. Never planned for this kind of thing. It's the first time I've really had this scenario. The Ricky's pumping out a bunch of parts on the mill, was switching parts out, jobs out to do one from like pedal steel parts to these F4 flanges we make. And he was going to make stands for ATC pedestals, the probe stand. And I don't know. It's some kind of weird thing I have, but I can hear weirdness in machines so easily. And I come into the mill room and I'm like, what's that hiss? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, yeah, there's a new hiss. And it's just like, you could call me annoying about it, but it's usually like useful. Like that's to me, it's a good thing. Hear it, and I can't not hear it. I had to take a panel off the side of the mill. The actuator that opens and closes the door to the ATC, it's a big wheel, and the door slides open with a piston filled with chips. We go back to that saga of how poorly designed every mill and internal area is. It's either the door can't open because there's chips in it, or like there's chips stuck in the cable track, so that's broken. There'd been so many chips stuck in this thing that it had eventually packed into a place where it poked an airline. And we should have probably, I guess, pulled it out. It didn't even look like something you would ever check. It's just like this piece of sheet metal covering kind of the airlines and the some wiring, I guess, probably for like sensors. Yeah, it poked it out and it was just dumping air out. That means we're replacing all those airlines in the whole mill. I asked some Instamachinist friends and they're just pull the line up, the slack out, and make it work. This is a 10-year-old machine. They're like, no, replace all the lines. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's the right thing, but it's like $100 of hose, 8 mil, and we got it from McMaster the next day. So Ricky's doing that right now, trying to anyway. We haven't done it before.
Yeah, it's funny. I think what is it about us that makes us hear those noises? Because I have exactly the same experience here. I'll walk out into the shop and I'll be chatting to someone, and then I'll get distracted and stop focusing because I've heard an airline leaking, and I'll just like walk over to the shop and like fiddle with a fitting. It's like, oh, it stops. Yeah, okay, cool.
Right.
What were you saying?
Oh yeah, right. I mean, the fan on the enclosure on the CNC router computer was making a weird loud noise, and I was like, dude, you hear that? And he's like, no, I don't know. He literally said to me that time, I don't know if this was a joke or not. He's like, we're pretty lucky we have your hearing around here. And I was like, is that true or is that annoying? When the Kaiser guy was installing I think maybe it's a salesperson. I'm sure it was a sales pitch to some degree, and we're back.
I just ordered you a camera.
Guy,
check out a link.
I'm just going to do this now. Oh, $15. I just like integrate that into a 3D printed module. I bet that'll work live all the time.
It's 480 pixels. That's enough
480. For it. Just permanent potato cam.
Yeah, just bring it on.
Anyway, the Kaiser guy was like, we have these sophisticated microphones that will go through a shop, and I think that the sales structure was pretty weird. It was like, for how much money we save you, we'll like charge a percentage of it based on how much air is being dumped out in leaky fittings and stuff. But basically they can walk through a facility and hear and figure out where the leaks are with some microphone array. And I was like, that's pretty cool, but like, I don't trust, it just felt a little bit slimy sometimes.
Pretty cool to have like the time to fiddle with. I would love the time and focus to fiddle with Raspberry Pis and that sort of tech. Now that you can like bake in AI into them and you could build some cool little widgets. Like I'm just imagining like a little bot that is just a mic in the workshop that's just listening. So like and give you a warning. It could give you a warning in the middle of the night of like, oh, you've popped an airline, or your compressor's running when it shouldn't be, or like, what's that noise? Oh, ba 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 ba.
Right.
Could
I
be.
I mean, I don't know why you couldn't have some type. I mean, like so many like libraries now for like Arduinos or
Yeah,
Raspberry Pis. They're
exactly.
just right. You just have like one at Jack's Precision. I don't know if you follow them, but he just
Mm-hmm.
put in like this crazy. I want to call it maybe it's 180 camera, but it's like either a set of cameras in like a security camera that's like probably one of those domes. But
Yeah.
he showed a view of it. It's like right over his desk in the middle of the floor, and you can see like wall to wall, and then you can zoom in anywhere like live. It's like filming it all at once. It's
Live
crazy.
Awesome. Another shop update from us is the tumbling. I was at the local artists market in town here on the weekend, just with the kids, well, the whole fam actually, wandering around, getting hot and grumpy in the sun, and the kids screaming because they weren't getting ice cream. And and
That's the truth of it.
we spotted this dude selling like timber polishes, beeswax timber polishes, and I stopped and had a chat to him.
Wow.
And I described what I was doing with the tumbling of like these small timber parts and blah blah blah. How I was
Mm-hmm.
having issues with the wax, and chatted, looked at his products, and yeah, he recommended one particular flavor of this like beeswax polish that he had, and I bought a bottle of it and took it back and took it straight to the shop that afternoon. And molto bene, it's beautiful. Does such a good job. So just
What's good about it?
I think I just needed that consistency. Like I had a hunch that I needed more of a liquid consistency rather than a solid wax, and sure enough, like just
I see. Yeah.
I
Right.
cleaned out the tumbler barrel, melted out all the old wax, and then just put some parts in there from the new like flush bookends that we're making. Just guessed
Right.
how much product to slop in there. It's kind of less than you think because it tumbles somehow. It covers all the
Yeah.
surfaces. I guess there's like
Right.
millions of little interactions as it's tumbling around in there, and it somehow magically coats every surface, gets into every nook and cranny,
Right.
and just working really well. So yeah, I think I've got a solution to
Amazing.
tumbling, and the
Very
like
cool.
for the more decorative parts, like the caps on the kit parts, it stays in there for a whole day, tumbles around with some Scotch Brights or whatever you called them. You had a different name for them. Brillo
I might have
pads.
had the wrong name. Brillo pad.
Brillo Scotch Brite. Just a white Scotch Brite,
Oh,
which
it's a
is like
brand. Yeah.
non-abrasive. Yeah, success. Happy.
Oh, jeez. Just saw a bill for a healthcare bill. I need to stop looking at other things. That's
Inbox no
cool.
scroll.
That's I love how like what do they say about like honey, right? It's like best when you get it locally, so you can get like
Yeah.
the allergy. So you're just getting local beeswax solution from. Is it actually made locally
Yeah.
by the guy?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Local polish.
Amazing.
I'm pretty happy.
Right on brand, baby.
I know, right?
What's new in Software Corner?
We have a lot of thoughts about. Maybe we'll try to keep it short. I don't know how much people enjoy listening to our AI babble, but I played a bit. I think we both have played a bit with Claude 3.7, and
Yep.
it definitely seems like an improvement all the way around. I can't say that it's like the thinking parts are blowing my mind yet. I guess in a different version of that thought, not Claude, but I was on my phone watching my child the other morning and, multitasking as he is playing with some blocks. And I was like, I need to find those screws we're going to use for those dust boot plates. And love McMaster, but they do this thing where they like strip out all the product labeling so that you're kind of stuck ordering from them, which they do a great service. But when you're buying production quantities of things, these screws were almost 20 cents a piece, and we need like 20 per each assembly. And I was like, that's a lot for screws. So I took a photo of the front of the box, which has no branding, just some like production batch numbers and like not even really a skew. And I put that in the on my phone into GPT, and I said, I need to find these screws. They're 424, 3/8 long. I can't find them anywhere else. I would need to order a lot of them. And there was a new button that said deep research. And I was like, oh, well, that seems like exactly what I need right now. I need you to deeply research this for me. It actually asked me one clarifying question. I answered that. And it's like, all right, I'll let you know when I'm done. And 10 minutes later, it had went through 60 sources. It found me 6 different places I could buy them. It found me the company that had patented those screws, and then where their distributors were, including some very common ones that I would have never found because they have terrible internet presence. And like, it's not searchable. I didn't have a SKU. I was like shocked that it was that good. Like that it found all that for me and made it very easy to then purchase. Oh, cool.
Pretty impressive. So that's the OpenAI deep research function.
Yeah. I don't know if I can even do it. Can you do it on the... Oh, it's right there. Yeah.
On the desktop up there. Yeah.
It seems like now there's a limit. It says I have 8 available until March 28th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't tried it at all. I've kind of have barely used OpenAI. I turned off my subscription again, so I've kind of hobbled myself in that department. I'm
right.
all in sim theory at the moment, but yeah, cool. I did, I had a good example, like with Ro, who's building the PS2. The moment, like we were sitting down last week trying to nut out this like tuning problem with the stepper motor. And my response to everything at the moment is, I'll just build an agent which will help us with this. Like spin up another agent in sim theory.
No, Jem, I want your help.
train it on some stepper motor basics, fed it some spec sheets, and then started asking questions about this, very specific tuning question that Ro had.
Yeah.
And it was a great example of when you know nothing about the subject area, how opaque or how unverifiable the results are. Like I was standing at my desk on my computer with my agent, but Ro was the one sort of prompting, and that it was spitting out these responses, which looked great and comprehensive and bloody blah. But like I'm like, look, it's over to you now. Like I can't look at this and tell whether any of this is useful or true or like. Yeah, I guess we're just not at that point where we can trust it to that extent.
Yeah, I guess what do you do? Like use another AI to verify the first one?
Check, yeah. Maybe.
You call a professional. Hey, my AI is saying this. Can you make sure if it's right?
Yeah, they'd love that when they... You're just a verification tool now. I'm sorry.
We're going to get those calls, right? Like I'm trying to get my CNC to run. I'm trying to make these plywood parts.
But yeah, look, Claude 3.7, Sonnet 3.7, whatever it's called. I've used it heaps in Cursor this week. Seems great. It's very impressive at single shotting projects. I gave it just a few perhaps unfair tests. I gave it the whole Kitaparts configurator project and said, hey, can you just rebuild this from scratch but make it mobile friendly, blah, blah, blah. And it did. It had a great attempt at it. I was really impressed with. It wasn't particularly functional, but I was like, oh, that's pretty good. So like a single shot. But then the more I worked with it, I very quickly started going around in circles. So it's not like mind blown. Oh my God, this is like 10 times better than 3.5, but it does seem pretty solid and impressive. But yeah, we'll see how it progresses, I suppose. Your camera's gone funny.
I'm here.
Temperament.
I'm here.
You're here. You want to just stay there? It's Vaseline
temperamental.
mode.
Ridiculous.
I did use it.
It takes my like complete concentration away every time it happens.
No, I know. It's like I'm very familiar with this. It's like having a toddler. It's like trying to have a conversation with an adult with a toddler at your feet. It's just like constant
Yes.
resets. Um,
They're like
so it feels very normal
hitting
to
you in
me.
the nads and stomping your feet. And
Yeah. I did use Claude 3.7 to save $350 a year on a Shopify app that I've now deleted. The annual
that's a
subscription was
lot.
due the next day, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I really don't like that app, and I don't want to pay another $350. Let's just entirely replace that functionality." And it took me about an hour, and I coded up a new review app, and it's for the website.
Oh,
Implemented it, rolled it out. It's on the front page. Turned off the
but not on the
Shopify app,
product
walked
pages,
away.
right?
Haven't rolled it onto the product pages yet, but that's just on my to-do list for next week. So
You seriously? Oh, dude, I need to do that. Can you sell me that subscription now?
no,
Can you
because
start selling this? So I need this. I need this too.
I've built it in a kind of dumb way, and I now then have to build a system for myself to ensure that I ask for reviews. Like I'll build a little automation, whatever reminder, like to ensure that I'm soliciting reviews from customers. But in terms of the actual output on the website, I'm much happier with how it looks and how it works. And so, yeah, it was a bit of a no-brainer.
Did you hear that?
No. What was it?
You did? Okay.
No, I didn't hear it. What
I was
was
trying to make something. That's good. Not what I wanted. We shall try this. Yeah, that's amazing. That's as you were describing that, I was going from really impressed and like, oh, that's so cool. I also have a review app that I don't really love, and they all end up being decently costly. And it's like an email sender, and then it presents stars and sometimes photos if people even do that. But it is important in terms of, what do they call that? Like social, trust in
social proof
that you have. If you haven't made them up, like you could completely make all of them up and nobody would ever know.
Well, yeah, I know, right?
Except for you get sued eventually.
Yeah.
I just to be devil's advocate, I was thinking like, well, now you have hamstrung this tool a bit, and is that now worth the $350 a year and your time to have done this and to deal with it going forward? And I think it is. I think you could probably make it better. And I hate those subscriptions too, that like they're little tacked on things to Shopify that like, I don't pay that, but I don't know. Like, how long is it going to take you? And you're pretty good at following up, I guess, but like, will you finish that out and get the rest of it tackled?
Yeah, I'm confident that I will.
Yeah.
And I've got a pretty tight sort of job closeout function in Airtable where I can see like who I've asked for a review, what their feedback was, things like that. So I'm confident that with a few zaps, a few automations and stuff, that I'll be able to close out the loop pretty seamlessly without making too much extra work for myself. But you're right, it's only $350. Like if I value my time at, my quoting time, I haven't checked these stats for a while, but like last time I calculated this, like I worked out what I can quote per hour if I've got leads sitting there, and then what my conversion rate is, and like in that sort of rough sense, I'm worth thousands of dollars an hour to the company to be just focused and quoting, right. And so
I don't mean to like downplay it.
No, that's a great point.
Think about it.
It's a great point because what's that $350 worth? It's maybe 20 minutes of my time or something in terms of what I can generate for revenue. So
maybe if you're replacing and adding features and stuff, that's better than what it was. And a lot of these are tiered based on use. So like,
yes,
when I first started using the one we have now, I think we got 50 email sends a month, and we're now pretty far over that. So I just have a portion of them that don't get asked to review, which I know, like, I get annoyed by the review things too, but it's like, it does convert, and it's always amazing. It's just amazing. If you ever think, and you're not somebody that sells something, you think that marketing emails don't work, well, they do. Like, even if they're annoying, they almost always convert some amount of dollars. And even if you don't even put a link to purchase in there, and somehow you found a way to track it, it's like, over the 15 years I've been selling stuff on the internet, it's like people will click back to your website and find a way, or it reminds them that you exist. You just muted yourself.
Shush. Down, Siri. Yeah.
How do you hear something? Shush.
Not you. Siri was talking to me. Yeah, they do convert, and yeah, I'm always torn about sending the EDMs, and I forget to do it. I think I have a lot of internal resistance about sending those sorts of marketing emails. I got one yesterday actually, which quite impressed me, and maybe this is like a trend in marketing emails that's happening now that I'm unaware of. But it was completely plain text, like it just looked like an actual personalized email, because it just looked like a normal email. There were no embedded images.
Yeah.
There was one hyperlink to click through to whatever the promotion was, and I was like, oh, and that actually got my attention. Like, I opened that email because it looked like a normal email, and I read it because it looked like a normal email, and I was like, that's kind of smart. I like that. It's not shiny.
Yeah, right.
It's no like,
yeah. I struggle to just make emails simple. And the problem, for anybody that gets our emails, you'll see this, is I duplicate the most recent email.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, there's all this good stuff in here. I don't want to lose it for when I need it. And then so I just freaking put too much crap in an email. I need to spend my time better, I guess, on that. So let's see if this works. That
improvement
is bad.
of the
That's
week.
not what I wanted. So
I can do that. I can do that voiceover for you. Just here we go.
Improvement of the week.
Perfect. That's exactly what we needed.
That's what you
yeah,
want.
that's better than the 11 Labs voice generator I just used. Something that had driven me crazy for the entire time I've had in this shop is it's a nice place. It's got a heater in the main shop. It's just like a big gas heater, keeps it just what we need. I've got a heater in my office that keeps the office. The bathroom has no heater. So we keep the door open overnight to hopefully ambiently heat the bathroom, which is annoying. It's not a very big room. But then I get here in the morning and it's not warm enough, and I need to, do my normal routine. And it's freezing cold in there, and it drove me crazy. I was like, why am I using the restroom in 55-degree weather? So I just put a heater in the bathroom this week. So stupid.
55 degrees,
Well, I enjoy
12
it.
degrees. Okay.
58 degrees, let's say.
Yeah. That's not that cold.
It's an event where you got to have a decent amount of your body exposed, and that makes it worse.
Okay. No. I won't be dismissive of your
Do you just
your
use an
so-called cold
outhouse?
weather.
Like, what are we talking about? That's not cold to you?
Just sounds like a regular, cool Central Victorian morning, but sure.
That's an Australian bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a cold dunny, mate. Get used to it.
Dunny. I just learned that on Bluey, and I was going to ask you about it.
Oh,
Is this like derogatory in some way? Like
Dun-
mom didn't like the word
dunny
on
No,
Bluey.
Nothing wrong with dunny. It's just a bit, ochre.
Like Aaron and I were trying to take whether or not that meant like Christmas vacation. He says, "Clean it out the shitter." It's like, is it like calling it the shitter?
No, that's a bit. Well, to my ears, that's a bit more like abrasive and obnoxious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
To my delicate ears, anyway. Improvement of the week. Look, it really just has to come down to the fact that I sealed the table tennis table with some clear coat finally. That's
Hey.
the most important and pressing shop improvement that needed to be done.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the thing you posted about on the walls? Were they like vinyl records?
I was wondering if that would make sense to anybody else. No, they were table tennis rubbers.
No, I didn't get that.
So, the rubber that you buy and apply to your bat.
Okay.
Collect them all. Yeah. I have to stop buying table tennis rubbers. Running out of money.
That's where your profit's going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you're watching this, I'm sorry about my camera. We'll get that fixed. I'm looking at cameras currently.
Yeah, next week Justin will be on
Use some of the
480p
profit of
potato
this
cam.
podcast.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
show sympathy with some Vaseline on my lens. Look, I can do it now. This will be a nice little closing gesture. I don't have Vaseline on my desk, I promise. Camera? Oh yeah, look at that.
You're gonna ruin your camera?
Beautiful.
Oh, it's so... That hurts a little bit.
Daddy. Yeah, perfect sync.
Oh my god. We just synced with the sound. That was crazy. I gotta end on that.
I just got some on my face. Oh dear.
I'm tired. My video's still not working.
What a ride.